now going to begin the regular council meeting for today, and we will be led in the prayer today by Cameron Skeetster. Hope I didn't mess that up too much. Skeetster. In any event, if I come close, Cameron, if you'll step forward and lead us in prayer, and then that will be followed by the scouts leading us with the Pledge of Allegiance. Cameron?
Dear Lord, thank you for bringing us together tonight. Please guide our hearts and mind through these discussions, and please bless and protect us all. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Scouts, if you'll come forward and lead us in the pledge, please. While they are getting together, again, this is Scout Troop 304 from Ames United Methodist Church.
Everyone please face flag. Scout salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Scout Troop, thank you very much. You are welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, or you can leave now if you choose, and we appreciate your efforts today on behalf of our meeting. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Forbes.
Present.
Councilmember Bryant.
Present.
Councilmember Bench.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore.
Present.
Councilmember Scherzer. Present. Councilmember Millen.
Present.
Councilmember Balls.
Present.
Councilmember Ostash.
Present.
Mayor Clark.
Here.
We have 9 members present, 0 absent.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, there's no public input, or is there any?
Did you want to read audience rules?
Yes, I will do so. Good evening. Because this is a public meeting, we ask that all members of the audience please remain quiet and refrain from speaking, interrupting, or otherwise disrupting the meeting. Also, this is a good time to remind everyone, and perhaps those of council here in front of you, that we also all shall turn off our electronic devices. And I would ask everyone to do so at this time, including myself. Now, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have some announcements. Yard waste collection is the same day as your regular trash day, and yard waste materials must be in paper yard waste bags or in a 35-gallon or smaller garbage can. And it cannot weigh more than 50 pounds, and you need to have a yard waste sticker attached to the front of your can. And these lovely stickers are available in the clerk's office for you. Also, City Hall will be closed next Monday, May 27th for Memorial Day. And I'd like council and public to be aware that the ordinance introduction item has been removed from the agenda by the city manager prior to this meeting, and no action is requested during this meeting. Mayor, that takes us to a proclamation designating May 2019 as Mental Health Month.
And that will be read today by Councilmember John Milne, and I believe Tim Ninemeyer will be here he's the director of the Customer Service and Receipt Rights Office at Saginaw County Community Mental Health Authority. Thank you.
Good evening. City of Saginaw proclamation. Whereas mental health is essential to everyone's overall physical health and emotional well-being, and whereas mental illness will strike 1 in 5 adults and children in a given year regardless of age, gender, race, ethnicity, religion, or economic status, and whereas people who have mental illnesses can recover and lead full, productive lives, and whereas an estimated 2/3 of adults and young people who have mental health disorders are not receiving the help they need, and whereas the cost of untreated and mistreated mental illnesses and addictive disorders to American businesses, governments, and families has grown to $113 billion annually, and whereas community-based services that respond to individual and family needs are cost-effective and beneficial to consumers and the community, and whereas the National Mental Health Association and its national partners observe Mental Health Month every May to raise awareness and understanding of mental health and illness. Now, therefore, be it resolved, I, Floyd Clark, Mayor of the City of Saginaw, on behalf of my fellow council members, do hereby proclaim May 2019 as Mental Health Month in the city of Saginaw. I urge all citizens, government agencies, public and private institutions, businesses, and schools in our community to commit to increasing awareness and the understanding of mental health, diagnosis and treatment, and the need for appropriate and accessible services for all people with mental illnesses. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Saginaw to be affixed this 20th day of May in the year of our Lord, 2019. Floyd Clark, Mayor. Councilpersons, Mayor Floyd Clark, Mayor Pro Tem Brenda Moore, Michael D. Balls, Annie Bench, Clint Bryant, Jamie Forbes, John Millen, Bill Ostash, and Autumn L. Scherzer, Timothy Morales, City Manager. Would you come forward?
Mr. Neinmeyer, if you'd like to say a few words, we'd be happy to give you the opportunity.
On behalf of Sandra Lindsay, Chief Executive Officer of Saginaw County Community Mental Health Authority and the Board of Directors, I'm happy to be able to stand in front of you and accept this proclamation. We appreciate all the support that we received from the City of Saginaw and hope that we are doing a good job in providing mental health services to the city and to the residents of Saginaw. I usually do bring a few people with me. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anybody who was willing to be seen with me in public, so I had to come by myself today. But seriously, we do appreciate everything that the city does for us and hope that we have a continued great working relationship into the future.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Madam Clerk.
Next, Mayor, we have a proclamation declaring May 25th, 2019 as Theodore Roethke Day.
And today I believe we have Annie Ransford from the Friends of Theodore Roethke here. If you'll step forward. And hello, good to see you.
Thank you.
This City of Saginaw proclamation. Whereas Theodore Roethke, a famous poet, was born May 25, 1908 and died August 1st, 1963. And whereas Theodore Roethke's birthplace, 1805 Gratiot Avenue in the city of Saginaw, is maintained as a museum in his honor. And whereas Theodore attended the University of Michigan, earning a BA and MA degrees and briefly attending law school before entering Harvard University. The Great Depression caused Theodore to leave school, and he then taught English at several universities, including Lafayette College, Pennsylvania State University, and Bennington College. And whereas Theodore also taught at Michigan State University in East Lansing, and during this period of time, he became a well-known poet and author. And whereas Theodore continued writing poetry and books, which resulted in receiving a Pulitzer Prize, 2 National Book Awards, and the Bollingen Prize, amongst many other honorable awards. And whereas Theodore's legacy remains strong in the city of Saginaw, his final resting place, as his remains are interred at Saginaw's Oakwood Cemetery. And whereas in April 2012, the United States Postal Service dedicated a postage stamp in honor of Theodore Roethke, the Roethke Forever stamp. And whereas Theodore was quoted as saying, "A lively understanding spirit once entertained you. It will come again. Be still. Wait." As we proudly honor this magnificent individual, we know the wait is over, as he is before us and will continue to entertain us through his poetry and writings. Now, therefore, be it resolved, I, Floyd Clark, Mayor of the City of Saginaw, hereby proclaim May 25, 2019 as Theodore Roethke Day in the City of Saginaw, and call upon the citizens of this community to reflect on and honor the life of this brilliant individual. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Saginaw to be affixed this 20th day of May in the year of our Lord 2019, signed by myself, Floyd Clark, Mayor, and in behalf of Councilpersons Brenda F. Moore, Mayor Pro Tem, Michael D. Balls, Annie Bench, Clint Bryant, Jamie Forbes, John Milne, Bill Ostash, and Autumn L. Scherzer, and Timothy Morales, City Manager. Ms. Ransford, if you will step forward, start this side.
you so much.
Thank you so much, sweetie.
Thank you so much.
I hope you fix it. I just noticed.
This is special. Thank you so much. Theodore Rutke, I'm going to read a stanza. And I think of roses, roses, white and red in the wide 600-foot greenhouses, and my father standing astride the cement benches, lifting me high over the 4-foot stems, the Mrs. Russells and his own elaborate hybrids, and how those flower heads seem to flow toward me, to beckon me, only a child out of myself. What need for heaven then with that man and those roses? Rutke grew up on Gratiot Avenue, and behind him, all the way to Division, 25 acres of greenhouses. They had 250,000 feet under glass. He would be 111 this year if he were living. So thank you for presenting this proclamation. It makes his birthday special and unique. And Saginaw is unique because of Rutke. No other town, no other city in the Great Lakes Bay region has a Pulitzer Prize winning poet that can claim their city as a hometown. We have a Michigan historic marker on the front lawn. We are under the National Register of Historic Sites, under the National Park Service, Boy Scouts. I've always thought it would be great to have Boy Scouts give tours in the house. So, yeah, put that on your list, right? We're also a literary landmark, and that's national. And during Rutke's centennial, we won the All Area Arts Award for adding to the quality of life for Saginaw. So we're proud of what we've done, but we have more to do. And recently we were faced with a challenge, and that was to remove one of the houses, a business decision, or to save both. And the board did revote, and so we are saving both. But it is a Herculean challenge to do so, and we will be turning to the Saginaw community when we launch our fundraising, our first fundraising drive. I think it'll be ongoing fundraising, but to help with the initial stabilization. Once both houses are operational, we'll be able to provide year-round community programs, not just seasonal. And our plans are to have visiting writers in the area schools, homework tutoring for kids, handicap accessibility, a working greenhouse, we have big plans, and a mental health outreach informed by the arts in consideration of Rutke's struggles with mental illness. Most historic homes fail, and we have weathered through 20 years. 20 years we've been a 501c3. In Rutke's words, what we need are more people who specialize in the impossible. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Ms. Rodsford. Okay.
Mayor, our next order of business is public hearings.
Thank you. The purpose of a public hearing is for the members of the public to address council as a whole and for council to receive information from the speakers for consideration regarding specific action being requested of us. Speakers must limit their remarks to the subject of the public meeting. Please begin by stating your name, address, and your relationship to the subject of the public hearing. The first speaker will be considered the main presenter or designated representative, and you will be allowed 10 minutes to speak. Other speakers will be limited to 3 minutes. Because public hearings are not question and answer sessions, speakers may only ask general questions for council's consideration, not questions directed to individual council members or city staff or the audience. Madam Clerk?
Thank you. Our first public hearing is for the fiscal year 2019-2020 proposed budget and property tax millage.
Are there any objections or comments from the audience? Any objections or comments?
Yes.
Step forward, please.
Do I get 10 minutes?
No.
No?
You would get 3. The city would
Right.
present budget.
The presenter is
Well, I
the
thought
city
you
would be the
said-
presenter.
I thought you said the first person to speak.
On behalf of the designated representative.
Okay.
But you do have 3 minutes.
All right, well, I thought I'd get 5, but whatever. I've written a list of comments and questions. I could try to read through. It's all on one page, typewritten, but I doubt I'm going to be able to read through it in 3 minutes. So,
May I ask a question? Is this something that the manager would need to address?
the manager,
All-
possibly, or the director of the budget.
Then if you'd like to just submit it, we can ask that that be reviewed and then responded to. Would that be acceptable?
Hey, why not? I've only got a couple of copies here, though.
Well, we can make copies for them,
So who
staff,
should I give this
to our
to?
clerk. And if you wanted to continue, you can continue, or you can be finished with having
I've
submitted.
still
the-
got 2 minutes, I guess.
Yes, you do.
Well, I'll just deal with the first item. In the budget on page 3, Roman numeral 3, you'll see a notice about an award. And it's from an organization called the GFOA, and it's for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2017. Now, if you read that page, you'll come to the conclusion that, is this a screw-up or what? Because it should say July 1st, 2018, unless Saginaw did not get an award for the current budget. I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Did you want to call for comments
Oh,
2 more times?
we do need to finish the public hearing. Are there any other objections or comments regarding this subject matter of this public hearing? Are there any other objections or comments? Last time, any other objections or comments? Hearing none, may we have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? It's been seconded? Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Close. Okay.
Our next public hearing is regarding the Special Assessment District for a police and fire millage for fiscal year 2019-2020.
Is there anyone to object or have comments on this item? Any objections or comments? Third and last time, any objections or comments? Hearing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved. Support.
It's been moved and supported. Are there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None, please.
Our next hearing is regarding the Downtown Development Authority District millage to be levied on properties within the district.
Is there anyone to raise objections or comment on the subject matter of this hearing? Anyone to make objections or comments? Third and last time, anyone to make objections or comments? Hearing none, is there a motion to close the meeting?
Motion to close.
Been moved and now supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Our next meeting, or public hearing, is regarding the Urban Cooperation Agreement with Buena Vista Township to provide a revenue-sharing component of the water service agreement.
Is there anyone to bring objections or have comments on the subject matter of this hearing? Anyone with objections or comments? Third and last time, anyone with objections or comments to wish to come forward? Hearing none, is there a motion to close the meeting?
So moved.
The hearing.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It is carried.
And our final public hearing tonight is request to establish an obsolete property rehabilitation district at 911 Veterans Memorial Parkway.
Well, before I call, I see someone is coming forward. Welcome again, Mr. Miller.
I'm here. Good afternoon, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, Manager Morales. My name is Tom Miller. I'm the Vice President for Saginaw Future, the Economic Development Agency for the City of Saginaw. I'm here today to speak in favor for the creation of the Obsolete Property Rehabilitation Act District. As you know, Oprahs essentially freeze the taxes on dilapidated buildings. The owner still pays existing property tax. They just do not pay an increase as a result of their investment. Many times these structures have been neglected for decades, leaving investors to face daunting unknown development costs, including environmental remediation, water, mold damage, and structural uncertainty. Oftentimes, the future proposed use is completely different from the previous use, and this adds inherent reconfiguration costs, which are not typical in new construction. All of these things are a disincentive to invest in a new project. Specifically about this property, it's the old recycling center on Veterans Memorial Parkway. We meet with the Northeast Neighborhood Association from time to time about projects when they have questions or concerns, like we did with Rifkin, to give them an update. And this property specifically, since it's been vacant, has been an issue for them. And even when it was operating, the recycling center had a lot of, as you can imagine, newspapers and cardboard that would blow all over the neighborhood. And so eventually that got cleaned up, but then it's been sort of an eyesore. Lori Brown and I and some of the folks from the assessor's office walked through the building several months ago now with the prospective new owners, and it was in really rough shape. The recycling center had a lot of big old equipment in there, and the siding was tore out, and the parking lot was in bad shape. The company, and I believe there's a representative here, yep, I was sitting in the back, couldn't see him, is here to answer some questions, tell you a little bit about the project, but they've been a long time business in the county. They needed a new location, needed a place to expand. Luckily, they were able to find this building, and your assistance with this Oprah will help them to invest some money and expand and create some jobs in the city of Saginaw. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to have objections or comments on the subject matter of the hearing? Please step forward and state your full name and address, please.
Hi, my name is David A. Clark. My address is 3693 Mannion Road, Saginaw 4603. I am the owner of this property at 911 Vets Memorial Parkway, and I'd just like to make a shout out to my brother Scott, who's also co-owner of A&B Equipment Company, who had purchased the property 911 Vets Memorial Parkway. As Tom said, this property was a recycling center. It was purpose-built as a recycling center from the ground up. And as a result, the building had housed very specific equipment for loading, baling, sorting of all of the recycled goods. Glass, paper, and plastic primarily is what was recycled at this facility. And the property was old, had been run down. It was really abused by the previous owners as a recycle center. Many holes in the siding. There's a lot of overhead doors, a lot of doors that were damaged and just didn't work anymore. As Tom had said, also the parking lot's in disarray. And we wanted to get this facility and fix it up and make it into a warehousing facility for us. But in order to do that, we have to remove these very large pieces of equipment that are in there, and then, you know, basically get us a clean floor plan again to be able to use it as a warehousing facility. Basic plans are to remove the equipment, repair the building, re-site it. A lot of overgrowth due to deferred maintenance around the fence line and all over on the property. We want to clean that up. Lighting has been an issue there, and it's kind of a dimly lit, you know, it really was sort of an eyesore sitting there in the, you know, on that property and on that street. So we wanted to clean that property up, make it usable again, refurbish the office space, the interior of the building, and make it a usable facility for a business once again. So we were hoping that you can find for us in favor of the Oprah for this facility to allow us to be able to afford to continue to maintain and keep this property so that we can run our business at this location. So,
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else to object or comment on the subject matter of this public hearing? Anyone else?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
are we asking what type of equipment is the equipment?
Yeah, I think we can cover that. Lisa?
Not during the public hearing, but you can. This will come up under resolutions.
All right.
It's number 4. So that would be the time to ask a
Very good.
question.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to address any comments or objections on this public hearing? That's the third time, I think, so. Hearing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved. Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It's carried. All right, Madam Clerk.
Our next order of business is public input.
And I wish to welcome all of those who have signed up to address council tonight. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us and your input. Hearing from the citizens we represent is very important to us. We ask that you speak slowly and clearly so we don't miss what you have to say. When called to the podium, please introduce yourself and state your residential address. Let us know if you will be speaking solely for yourself or on behalf of a group. All speakers will have a 3-minute limit, which is timed by the clerk, so be sure to cover your main points first. We ask that your presentation be courteous and respectful to the members of the public present, to the citizens watching SGTV, and to the council, so we can give serious consideration to your concerns. All follow-up will be referred to city staff. Thank you.
Mayor, our first speaker is Howard Thomas.
Mr. Thomas?
See him coming forward. Next on our list is Eric Carbon.
Welcome again.
Thank you.
Please state your full name.
Yeah, Eric Carbon, living at 1003 Mackinac Street. I begin by responding to a remark of the city manager at the meeting on May 6th. He said, "That intersection, we have dealt with this before." I would like to know, who are the city personnel referred to as we? What specifically about that intersection is referred to as this? And when did we deal with this? My specific concern about the traffic signals at Michigan, Mackinac, and Gratiot is the simultaneous display of 2 conflicting traffic signal indications. One, the circular green signal for the right turn lane for a right turn off of Michigan Avenue onto Mackinac or Gratiot, and 2, the pedestrian walk signal in the traffic signal face for crossing Gratiot. I am concerned that there can arise a conflict between the pedestrian within the crosswalk on Gratiot and a vehicle coming onto Gratiot when turning right off of Michigan. Typically, vehicles turning right onto Gratiot from Michigan tend to travel at an excessive rate of speed. They do not need to slow down as they would when turning right onto Mackinac. If a pedestrian enters the crosswalk on Gratiot and starts crossing in response to a walk signal, while at the same time a vehicle is turning right off of Michigan to get to Gratiot, the pedestrian is risking life and limb if he relies on the driver obeying the legal requirement to yield the right of way. If accidents haven't been happening at this intersection, I don't think it's because the traffic signals are problem-free. It's probably because of the low-volume pedestrian traffic at this intersection, and highly likely that pedestrians wishing to cross Gratiot when the pedestrian signal It's highly likely that pedestrians wishing to cross Gratiot do so when the pedestrian signal indicates don't walk, but there are no vehicles that appear to be making a right turn off of Michigan. I doubt that any sane pedestrian would enter the Gratiot crosswalk when he sees the signal indicate walk, but also sees vehicles turning right off of Michigan onto Gratiot. I would doubt his sanity if he put any faith in being held harmless by a traffic rule that requires any vehicles to yield the right of way to a pedestrian lawfully within a crosswalk. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kerbin. Madam Clerk?
And with that, Mayor, we are now at remarks of council.
I would like to remind the council members that there is a 3-minute limit, and today we begin with Councilmember Ostash.
Good evening. So I want to just say thanks to the troops that came here tonight and did the Pledge of Allegiance and the prayer for us, and just nice having you here. Also, I just want a couple things on my list here. I just want to mention that coming up June 5th, again, I just want to reiterate, it's going to be Jazz on Jefferson, so that's always a great event down Cathedral District. That's going to be from 5 p.m. until 8 p.m. Also coming up just a little bit more down in the summer, but there's going to be the Court Street Art Fair, or Old Town Art Fair, excuse me, that's going to be on the 9th and 10th of August. And also, I just kind of want to give a shout out to some of our staff here at City Hall. They've been doing a great job with our social media, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. So there's a lot of good information that's coming out there. If you're not following them, please do, because they really do put a lot of good information out and things that are going on in the city. So I want to thank them for that. Also, something I saw that just recently that was kind of a neat idea, and you'll probably see the signs around the city. Our DDA went out and they did kind of a scouting of the city. They have these signs that they put up stand codes on them, and there'll be anything from, hey, there's a cool coffee shop over here, or what about the Temple Theater here, and it'll actually tell you how far it is to go. So kind of keep your eye out for those. It'll be not hard to miss them. They're on the poles, various colors, orange, blue, and such like that. So I thought that was a really nice thing that the DDA did. And Mayor, that's all I have.
All right. Thank you, Councilmember Balls.
Thank you. I don't have a lot to say this evening, but I would like to thank the Boy Scout troop for coming here and blessing us with your presence here. You guys look like y'all going to be extremely upstanding citizens. You know, and I thank you guys thank the troop leaders for being mentors in your life. You will definitely remember this as you get older, having some males in your life that want to spend time with you and teach you how to be a productive member of society. And I want to thank you guys, too, personally, for doing what you're doing for the kids. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's it.
Thank you. Councilmember Milne.
Thank you, Mayor Clark. I also wanted to thank the Boy Scout troop from Ames Methodist for coming. One of the first official things I did as a council person was attend an Eagle Scout ceremony at your troop at the church, and that was a quite moving event. So good to see some future Eagle Scouts, I'm sure, sitting in the audience. I wanted to thank the Clark brothers for looking at Saginaw for an opportunity for growth. Small businesses are often mentioned as where 80% of the new jobs in any area come from, so we're always happy to welcome small business into the city. We like to keep what we have, but we like new ones to come in too. And I've been out of town for a little while, so I really don't have anything else to mention today. Okay. We'll surprise the other council members.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I also want to say thank you to the troops. Again, I'll piggyback what they said. It is a thankless job sometimes to be in a leadership role during an organization, so to the troop leaders, thank you for your patience, and thank you for investing your time into them. I do want to just make note to remind everyone that Cirque du Soleil is coming to Saginaw. Crystal is going to be at the Dow Event Center, and I look forward to hopefully some of my council members this Wednesday attending that event. And then I really just want to shout out to Councilman Bryant. I participated with the Saginaw Beautification Day on Saturday, and it was an amazing event. 2 days of great work. If you have time, drive down Wicks Park Drive, take a look at Crayola Park. Councilman Ostash and I did that. Thank you, Councilman Bryant. It is a lot of work to plan an event like that, but kudos and hats off to you. And hopefully more council members will be out there next year, whatever you plan. I saw you were there on Facebook Friday. I was at work, but that's all I have. Thank you, Councilman Bryant, but thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem.
Good afternoon. I'm going to echo kudos to the Boy Scouts because we can go back and forth, back. And hello, my friend. Hello, my friend. We're doing fine. We work together. Didn't realize, I forgot he was a Boy Scout leader. This week has been really quiet. The last couple of weeks have been really, really quiet, which is good. I had a chance to go to the Energy Windmill seminar that was put on by Chambers of Commerce along with Futures. I just wanted to hear about the windmills, even though I know we'll never get any windmills in the city. I just wanted to hear how it could help us save energy. So I did that. And I also on Sunday had the opportunity to go to First Baptist Church of Bridgeport to help celebrate the retirement of Pastor Oscars. Every year he does a special thing for all of us community leaders at his church. And it was just phenomenal that they spent the whole day just honoring him. And so that was the bulk of my weekend. I didn't work at the cleaning up the city, but I came. Saturday I had a golf outing. Friday I had meetings to go to, and I did stop by to have lunch with some of the volunteers. Kudos also, Councilman Brian, job well done. It was well attended. It'll be the talk of town for right now, because it went from 1 day to 2, so maybe he'll get it to a week in a minute.
No.
Okay? That's all I have to say.
All right. Councilmember Bench.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I don't have much either this evening, so I do want to thank our guests and the Boy Scouts for being here this evening. It's always nice to have some young people in the audience. Also, yes, kudos to you. You did a wonderful job, as you always do, beautifying our already beautiful city. But congratulations on such a good turnout and a great event. And that's all I have, I think. Thank you.
Councilman Bryant, Member Bryant, it's your turn.
Thank you. All right, well, I want to start off by saying thank you to Ms. Ransford and also Mr. Ninemeyer for accepting those proclamations. Both are very good agencies and organizations in our community, and thank you to the Boy Scouts for joining us here tonight. I had the opportunity to attend the United Way banquet, so shout out to our awesome employees who won the Heatherman Award. We have a big bowl. Sure, I know it's on our social media. So if you want to see it, but they won because of their generous contributions out of their salary to make contributions to the United Way. So it was great. Ms. Vicky did a fantastic job in reading off her remarks. So it was a really good event and a nice evening. The United Way of Saginaw County celebrated 100 years in service to our city. So it was great in Saginaw County. Of course, I have to talk about Beautification Day. I don't know if next year we'll do 2 days. I think we might stick to 1, but we got a lot of work done. And thank you to everybody, all the volunteers in the committee, and each person on city staff, from Vicky to Jeff to Phil to Simeon to Mike McGibney, to everybody who has a small part in that or a large part. Everything 5 years in, this just kind of fits well like a puzzle. I was kind of sad. I wanted 400 people again, but we finished just under that, and even with less contributions. So, but we got amazing work done, and it's on days like that when you see hundreds of people come together for our city that our goals and objectives are definitely within reach. So it's just like goosebumps talking about it. When you see all these people who've never been to Wicks Park and the different areas of our community, we kind of switched up a little bit. We met at Wicks Park and did some sites over there, and then we had lunch at the Splash Park. A lot of people just don't realize the amazing things that we have in our community. We have a fitness center that's going to be going in. We got updates to our Splash Park. We got brand new bocce ball. We got regulation-sized beach volleyball coming into Celebration Square. And piece by piece by piece, Wicks Park will continue to improve. So I'm looking forward to working with more of our citizens and other groups to take one bite out of that each and every year. So we got a good start on it this year. I'm just looking forward to more years continuing to lead this project. So thank you all to my colleagues who were able to attend or make a contribution, and to the residents of our community. Thank you to Mr. Miller as well. He was there. But that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilmember Forbes.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to mimic all my other city council folk in thanking our many guests for coming tonight and for their contributions to our community. I'd like to invite you all to the Ezekiel Project's event about healthcare access, May 21st, which is tomorrow, from 5:30 to 7:30 at Bradley House Theater, which is 403 South Jefferson. And then I would just like to wish our Muslim neighbors Ramadan Mubarak on this important holiday season. And that's all.
That's it. Well, I want to thank all my fellow council members who said everything that I wanted to say more than once. So thank you. I'll be very brief. Scout Troop 304, thank you. And I want to recognize again that this is the Scout Troop's 100th anniversary year. And I think that is quite an achievement. And they're a city of Saginaw Scout Troop. And they're over at Angels United Methodist Church, and that is a heck of a record to have 100 years of a Scout Troop. So you're prior to the Scouts, your leaders are important to you, but they're also important to the city because there's a whole history of leaders in the Ames United Methodist Church that have led Scout Troops for 100 years. That's very tremendous. Thank you. Yep. Ms. Ransford, a Pulitzer Prize winner or recipient here in Saginaw, is also quite tremendous. So I appreciate your comments and thank you. And I'm sure the community will help support the Friends of Theodore Retke with the goals that you've set for this historical achievement, historical houses and activity that you have at those two houses that you are preserving. And finally, Councilmember Ryan, yes, thank you. That's all I can say. It's been said too many times already, and well, it never can be too many times, but it's been said multiple times, and it's well deserved, so thank you. With that, Madam Clerk, I am done.
Thank you, Mayor. That takes us to reports from the manager.
Mr. Manager.
Thank you. First, I would like to thank the police department staff for putting together the annual awards event that was on May night, and congratulations to the officers and staff who received recognition, and thank you to all the officers who serve the city. The May Police Officer of the Month is Officer Rob Adams. As part of the K-9 unit, Officer Adams attends many events to promote and familiarize the public with the Saginaw Police Department. As a member of the emergency services team, helps ensure the safety of the city, working cases that require a more tactical, concerted approach. As a field training officer, he is active in developing new officers for the city. Congratulations to Rob on being selected as the Officer of the Month. If you don't know, Rob handles Devo. The Saginaw PD civilian employee of the quarter is Mary Coyle. Mary is dependable, displays a positive work ethic, and does not hesitate to put others before herself. Now, moving on from the police department, I received a letter from the Michigan Association of Municipal Clerks to announce that our Deputy Clerk, Chris Bolzman, has met the program criteria and attained the prestigious Certified Michigan Municipal Clerk certification. Chris's commitment to education and desire to attain certification clearly defines her commitment to the clerk's profession. Congratulations to Chris for this achievement. So I think she's here tonight. Thank you, Chris. And as Councilman Bryant mentioned, the cities of Saginaw's United Way team received the Heatherman Award for their campaign efforts this year. The city went a long time without having any involvement and has been exponentially increasing the donations from staff members for quite some time. The team is made up primarily of representatives from City Hall, Public Services, and Water, Wastewater Treatment, and our AFSCME union and SEIU union. Vicki Davis does coordinate the group, and their campaign continues to grow each year. They also work pretty closely with some of the local businesses on incentives for that. So congratulations to that team as well. Last meeting, I mentioned the GFOA award for our comprehensive annual financial report. We also received confirmation that the budget document has been awarded the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award from the Government Finance Officers Association for the FY 2019 budget. This award is the highest form of recognition in governmental budgeting. The award represents a significant achievement for the city. In addition to receiving the award for the budget, Saginaw's budget received special performance measures recognition. The budget team led by Yolanda Jones works hard each year, and she has placed an emphasis on performance measures, and that was recognized by the Government Finance Officers Association this year. This marks the 11th consecutive year the award has been earned by the city, so great job by Yolanda and her team. So you'll notice I said 2019 award, so that was last year's budget. You have the 2020 budget, which is one of the questions we had is why the budget says the 2018 award. It's awarded long after the fact, so we put the previous year's award goes in the next year's budget, and that's the same as the audit. So hopefully that answers the first question. I did forward council a memo about the intersection at Gratiot Avenue, Mackinac Street, and Michigan Avenue. When I say we have worked on that before, that means the Public Services Department, which reports through Phil Carwatt now, and I talked to Phil, and yes, they have worked on this issue in the past in reviewing it. But they did look at it again. They reviewed the signals, traffic and engineering, the city engineer and the deputy public services director. Staff reviewed the operation of the traffic signal at the intersection of Gratiot, Mackinac, and Michigan Avenue and confirmed the signal is operating as programmed. The signal operates as a three-phase signal, and all phases were working as programmed. A 3-year accident analysis of the intersection from January 1, 2016 through December 31, 2018 showed the intersection averaged 5.6 accidents per year. During that time, there was one pedestrian accident. And we understand that sometimes there can be issues even if everything is functioning properly and as according to the law. So the city engineer staff is contracting with Rowe Engineering to review the intersection and possibly to make recommendations on potential changes there. Given that, however, if there are changes, that is going to, there's going to be costs associated with that. So as they get that back, we'll probably bring that to council if they recommend any changes, and likely if they don't, we'll update you on that as well. And with that, we do have some presentations as well tonight. Several council members have asked in the past about membership on boards and commissions and who is on commissions, when do they meet, when are there vacancies. City Clerk Santos and Jeff Klopsick for technical services, their staffs have been looking at solutions that could make it easier for council members and the public to see that. So we are ready to go live with our boards and commission software. So I asked Janet to give a demonstration to council tonight.
you, Manager Morales and council members. Yes, boards and commissions. Just so you know, we do have 33 different boards, commissions, and/or authorities. They are required and/or created by a statute, by city charter, or city ordinance. And historically, the city manager's office has been assigned with the task of tracking the members and their terms. However, in 2012, that task was assigned to the city clerk's office. So we take on this task, and vacancies, they do occur. I appreciate that you call me and contact me, when you want to know about information of vacancies, term endings, who's on it, what their qualifications are. That's wonderful. But to assist with this process and make it easier and more transparent, you approved to purchase the software program, and that's what we'll demonstrate tonight. Also, with recruitment efforts, so that the public knows when there are vacancies out there. One thing that we did put together was a City in 60. It's a video, 60 seconds. We'd like to show that to you because now you can see this on the city's website, on the YouTube and SGTV channels. So I'm going to show this to you right now. Have you ever thought how you can help the city of Saginaw? We are looking for individuals to serve on our boards, commissions, or an authority, which are vital to how a city operates. Members are everyday citizens, helping to shape local government by making decisions that affect their city. Serving your city can be a fun and rewarding experience. To serve, you must meet the following guidelines. Be a United States citizen, be 18 years of age or older. You cannot be in default with the city. Default means owing the city money. And additional requirements may apply, such as being a resident of the city. To confirm the requirements and vacant positions, call the city clerk's office at 399-1311 and press option 6. Or to apply, simply visit the city's website or stop at the city clerk's office during regular business hours and complete an application.
Nice. Thank you.
There we go.
That's very nice.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks to Matt Shugnick and Tech Services for helping me put that together. He did a great job. And now what I'd like to do is, for the transparency for the public and their easy access for the information out there, this feature is already out on our city website, so I don't know if you want to use your iPads, if you have the city website up there to go and take a look. That's what I'm going to show you next. This is what you and the public will be able to see. So right here we have the home page for our city website is what I'm showing you. So on that website, if you scroll down all the way to the left, there's like a menu of things that you want to do. You want to get down to boards and commissions. You're going to click on that. And that will move you to this page. It will take you to upcoming meetings, and as you can see here, it has the upcoming meetings for May, and it has all the different boards and commissions for May meetings. And also it shows the June meetings. And then it has past meetings. So this is kind of a recap for all the boards and commissions in a nutshell, month by month. Now, if you are looking for a specific board or commission and want to know their meetings only, you can click on the tab here that says meetings. I'm going to kind of move my cursor over a little bit. Click on meetings and it takes you to this page here. Right now we have all meeting groups is what we're looking at here, so it shows all the boards and commissions. But if you do this drop-down menu for your group that you're looking for, if you want to go to City Council, want to know those meetings, it will bring up only the meetings for City Council. And this is on here for the whole year. I have all of 2019 on here already. And say you want to look for the Riverfront Commission. I can't find it. There it is. Riverfront Development Commission. Here are all their meetings. Good. Now the boards, let's get to the nuts and bolts of everything. Here's the board tab right here. If you click on that, Will take you to the list of all our boards and commissions. They are listed here alphabetically. So if you're looking for a certain one, go alphabetically to search for it, and you can see all the different boards and commissions. Board of Review. It shows you the Board of Review title of the commissioner of the board. Right here, Lori Brown, she's a city staff person that handles the Board of Review. An email address for contact. Term limit, 5-year terms, unlimited number of terms. We have positions, there's 7 in total, 5 are occupied and 2 are vacant. And we have a list over here of all the board members that are serving on that board currently. Brownfield Redevelopment, Yolanda Jones, and her email address. Meeting frequency is quarterly. So it can tell the public how often they meet. Any affecting legislation that's on here, we have public acts, bylaws, amending any statutes that are out there. Again, the term limits and the positions, we have 3 vacant on here. City Council, you can see that Janet Santos is the clerk of this council. Phone number, email, and the address. So all of this information can be built into this data system. Frequency of the meetings twice monthly. And as we go down through some of these, you'll see that the frequency of meetings are as needed. So a lot of the boards and commissions have those. They don't meet on a regular basis. Here's a good example. For Historic District Commission, you can see the affecting legislation that's here. They meet monthly. But since there is a vacancy, because it says positions, there's 9 total and 7 are occupied, there's 2 vacancies on here. That's why this tab over here that says join this commission is there. You don't see it, see on the not that one, Election Commission. That is a full commission. There's no vacancies on it, so you will not see that join this commission tab there. Just want to show you, just going through the different things here, just how they're listed. Take a quick second to kind of view what we have in here. Where we could fit in the member's picture, we did input that. We will build on that. If we didn't have your photo, we put in the city logo here in black and white, just so it wasn't a blank shadow of a head. Thought this looked more appealing to the eye and to the visitor on the site. Okay, so let's, oh, my little thing is, there we go. I want to give you an example here on Zoning Board of Commissions. Since it says join this board, let's click on that. I'm going to click tab because I want more information on joining that board. So it takes me to this page. I can see the qualifications over here to the right. Must be a city resident. So I know that that is one crucial qualification that I have to have in order to apply. And the positions that are open are alternate members. So if I want to apply for that board, I can click here. But what I want you to first notice is up at the top, there is a 0 right here. I haven't chosen any board or commission that I want to apply for yet, so it's 0. But if I choose this one down here to apply, that changed that to a 1. So I've chosen one that I want to apply for. That's not the only one I can do. I could do another one. Right up here, Saginaw Riverfront Commission. Actually, there's not a vacancy, it's a city staff vacancy, but for the sake of the demonstration, I'm going to apply for this position as well. And it changed it to 2. So by doing this, I can apply now. I have to go back to the top and say apply now. Sign in. Everyone that wants to apply will have to sign in with their username and set up their own account to come in. Mine's already established. So if I can type right. Do not want that in automatic. That takes me to the application page. So here's where the public or the person can apply for that position. Now, I plugged in my information already because I have an established account. Once you establish your account, this will automatically fill in. Anything with the asterisk next to the box is a required field. Will not take it without it. You can add any information here in your brief resume experience that you want us to be aware of. And I really like this line about upload your resume or other documentation. If you have a recommendation letter, the person can upload that file right here and attach it to the application. And the drop-down menus here, they click on that. Are you a citizen? You have to be a citizen. That was one of the things in the City and 60 message that we put out there. Certify or attest, you have to choose here. I hereby certify attest that by submitting this application online, that the foregoing information is factual and true. Hopefully they agree to this. And are you in default with the city? Default means, do you owe the city money? And have you made all the income tax filing records that you need to do? Yes or no. You can answer that question. Have you ever been convicted of a felony? They will answer that. Fill in all the other boxes. And this tells them my preferred position. Right here are the two positions I chose. So I can save this as a draft, come back to it later, complete it. I can take my time with that. Or if I feel I'm done, I can make any remarks here. Please, please, please appoint me. And then submit your application. So it's all done right here.
Awesome.
That's very nice.
Yes. And we still have the option that they can come back into the clerk's office, fill out the paper one right there. We still have that option as well. It doesn't all have to be done online. But this is just quick, easy, and out there for the public and out there for the council to see the members.
Good.
So.
Very good reference. Any questions or comments?
I have a question.
Thank you.
Was the, I'm sorry.
Sorry. I think this is so amazing. I'm so excited. Is there any way that we can make it more prominent on your page? Because I feel like it's just so small and I want it to get a lot of attention.
Well, it is on the home page, which I showed you, and it's also on the clerk's page. If you go to government, city clerk, which is a little more hidden, and then down here, boards and commissions.
It's so little.
You can access it this way too.
Okay.
Okay.
And so going forward, when meetings occur, then minutes, etc., will be added.
That's our goal.
Okay.
Yeah, we will see where we are there for the
That's
minutes.
awesome.
Yes.
It's just so great.
Good.
I'm so excited.
Thank
Member
you.
Milne?
Yes, the way this seems so seamless on the website, was this like a module we purchased to go with our existing?
Yes, and then we entered the data on my deputy clerk, my staff. They did a wonderful job assisting me with this and building it and getting all the information in there, verifying that it's up to date and correct. So.
Others, questions, comments?
Councilwoman Forbes mentioned about the software itself. So even like the agendas could be put out there too, so people kind of know what's coming up?
That's down the road.
Down the road,
Yes.
as their minutes. I think this is fantastic.
Good. It's a good starting point. Thank
Exactly. I've applied for boards and commissions, and you get the PDF online, and then you have to use it out, and it gets messy. Yeah, this is great. This is fantastic.
Good. Thank you.
Any others? I assume there will be something keeping track of, as positions filled, it'll change the information on a vacancy, one, instead of two, now it's one, and things like that.
Yes, absolutely. We do that after every council meeting. Like tonight, you have an appointment on your agenda. Tomorrow, we will update that information. Yes.
So do we have a number count on what board council has a slot? Are there, like some of the commissions and boards that we have, it's like mayor appointment for council people to be on. Is that noted on this or not? We just have
It
to
may
call
be built in on that specific commission or authority or board in affecting legislation or who it's appointed by. Yeah.
Okay.
One more quick question. So when they're filling out their application, they have to submit that they hereby say that all this information is correct. Does that cover the notary section that we used to have to get, because you used to have to get it notarized? So that would kind of...
We have done away with the notary.
Okay.
requirement
Okay.
on our document because of this area here, and what was the purpose of it anyway?
Exactly.
Yes.
Makes it streamlined.
So by submitting that, they attest to the information being true and factual.
Okay, I kind of figured that was, and I just wanted to clarify.
Yes.
Thank you.
And if the application is not complete, because it will come into the city clerk's office, we will get the email of that application. If it's not complete, we will contact that applicant and tell them what they need to complete or resubmit, or, you know, whatever is needed to follow up on.
Does a criminal record exclude someone from becoming a member on a board or commission?
That is up to the 3 members that review the applications for appointment.
Okay.
Any others? Thank you very much. It was excellent.
You're welcome. Thank you,
Good to see
council.
Nice
Good to see.
presentation.
Mr. Manager.
Okay, we have another presentation, and this is the last for the budget presentations. Beth Church, who is our Assistant Director of Human Resources, annually will do the personnel complement. So Beth is here and to do that update tonight.
Welcome, Ms. Church.
Thank you, and good evening to all of you. As most of you know, you see me twice a year bringing forward changes to the personnel complement, which tells us how many positions we are authorized to have among our employees here in the city. The one I'm presenting this evening is ones that would be effective with this budget year on July 1st of 2019. You'll see, if you're reviewing your handout, that it is a little larger than what I usually bring to you. So let me go through that with you. What I thought I might do to make it a little easier for you, because there are so many changes this time, you know, we went through a couple years where we didn't bring that many changes. But this year, in light of a lot of different things happening with the city, it's a little more expansive than usual. So I've color-coded some of it for you. In your handout, you'll see under some of our additions to staff that the police officer notation on there is highlighted in blue.
Can we make it bigger?
Oh.
Is it F5?
Yeah, it's like presentation mode.
Chris, you know how to
Click on slideshow.
Go to slideshow.
slideshow.
Click on slideshow.
Yay, Chris, you earned that certification.
Thank you, Chris. It's not in blue on this sheet here, but on your paper handouts, you'll see that we're adding 2 police officers to our complement this year. And the reason that I highlighted them is, well, one, because that's very good news. I think that takes us up to, what, 61 sworn? 61 sworn. And we have Covenant Hospital to thank for that because the cost of adding those 2 additional police officers to our complement is being reimbursed back to the city. So since that was a little bit of a different way to finance them, I wanted to highlight that so that you were aware of their generosity in doing that with the city. You'll also see some positions highlighted in yellow, and those are all due to the state of Michigan mandates regarding lead and copper rules. In order for the city to meet those requirements from the state, we have had to add some positions to staff. And the ones that we are adding on the front page there is reinstating the former superintendent position within our maintenance and service department, adding 1 utilities foreman, adding 2 utilities persons 1 positions to that department, and a laborer 2. Within the water and wastewater department, we will be adding a deputy director for water and wastewater treatment, reinstating the former title of the superintendent of water treatment that had been changed to superintendent of water and water distribution. Now we're taking it back just to a superintendent of water treatment. Adding an additional operating foreman at water, and adding an additional lab tech to handle all the additional workloads that will be coming in due to the lead and copper rulings. I want to switch quickly to the deletions page then to show where we've reflected the elimination of that superintendent of water treatment and field operations title. So you can see that that state-ordered mandate required quite a lot of staffing changes within the city for us to keep on track and do what's required of us. Now let me just quickly take you through some of the other changes. Going back to the additions page, we're bringing back the former urban planner designation. I believe that was something that some council members really had wished to see. And if you quickly just look at the designations, our associate planner position is going to be coming vacant later in the year. And so we are going to be replacing that with the urban planner position to aid in growing the city. Going back to the additions page or deletions page, we are going to be deleting 2 of our part-time skilled laborer positions in inspections and then replacing them with a full-time environmental enforcement officer. We've not been able to bring in the income that we had been budgeting for using 4 part-time environmental employees. We had a lot of turnover. We were not able to keep those positions filled, and so the funds were not being brought into the city. So hopefully changing that to 1 full-time environmental enforcement officer and then having 2 part-timers we think will work better for us. In the Office of Management and Budget, we're going to be adding 1 administrative budget analyst position. Going down to public services, we are going to be adding a civil engineer level 1. A number of years ago, we used to have 4 different levels of civil engineers, and now we just have technicians and assistants. Time for us to have some succession planning, some career pathing within that department, and so we're going to be bringing in an entry-level engineer. We're taking a look at how we do our custodial services here for the city. This is another position due to its part-time nature we've had a very difficult time keeping filled. Going back to the deletions page, you'll see that we plan on eliminating 1 part-time skilled laborer position and 2 part-time basic laborer positions and replacing that with 1 full-time custodial person. The last couple things to go over on the additions page, our instrumentation and controls department, which is part of our water and wastewater treatment department. We would like to add 1 instrumentation and controls technician. And at the water treatment plant, what we are doing is eliminating 1 electrician position and changing that to a mechanic position. So those 2 positions will balance each other out. Going back to the second page on the deletions, just some of the things that I haven't already mentioned. The Office of Management and Budget is going to be deleting their 2 part-time intern positions to help finance the addition of their analyst. And the Technical Services Department has eliminated the Information Technology Analyst position. Some of the duties that were associated with that position have been absorbed by others in the department. The last area to go over is reclassifications. This is when we're not adding or deleting specific positions, but changing the classifications of some of the people that are already on board with the city. And the one that we're addressing this year are some changes to our Office of Human Resources. And this all sort of started with my decision to retire in July. So what we've done is taken a look at the staffing within our human resource department and changing the HR assistant director designation back to what it previously was of an HR generalist, changing our administrative assistant 1 to a human resource specialist, and changing our employee benefits coordinator designation to an HR benefits analyst. And this will reduce payroll costs within human resources by $12,063. So your summation page, we do also have one title change. The instrumentation and control analyst is being relabeled as a technician 2, and that will differentiate it from the addition to staff that you saw bringing on an instrumentation and controls analyst 1. So overall, summary of actions taken, we are adding 9.1 employees to the complement for total wage impact of $558,023. Now, that sounds like a lot, so what I wanted to do off to the side is break it down for you so you could see the areas that are affected by that. Of that total amount of the $558,000, $105,546 of it is to the general fund, or 18.9%, and then the balance is non-general fund. But if you take a look at that reimbursement from Covenant Hospital for those 2 additional police officers, you'll see that that offsets the cost to the general fund of now taking it down to $22,682, or only 4.8% general fund of the budget. And then I just wanted to show you the impact of those asset management costs, or the lead and copper positions that I alluded to earlier. They are going to comprise 76.1% of that non-general fund budget. So that was quite a large impact on our budget. And they did require those 9 additions to staff. And those are your recommended changes for fiscal year 19 and 20.
Any questions? Any comments?
Comment. I would just like to say thank you for this. And
you're welcome.
You surprised us. and it never ceased to amaze me how you balance it to where we understand it. And I just want to thank you for that one.
Oh, thank you.
Yep. Any other comments or questions? All right, thank you so much,
Thank
Mrs.
you.
Church.
That concludes the management update.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Mayor, next order of business is the consent agenda.
The agenda has been available at City Hall, on the city website, and on SGTV channel 191. Are there any exceptions to be noted by the clerk?
Exception number 12.
Number 12. Are there any other exceptions? Any other exceptions? Is there a motion to approve the remaining items?
So moved. Support.
It's been moved and supported. Are there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Carried. Madam Clerk?
Item number 12, approve the 4 agreements with Consumer Energy for $587.71 to provide alternate power supplies for retention treatment basins in the remote facilities division for a 35-year period. Councilmember Millen.
Councilman Millen?
Yes. The reason I asked to have this item pulled out, I would like to discuss one of the agreements in particular, but all of them generally. In looking at this, we're asking consumers to provide the backup power, which I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, Manager Morales, is a federal requirement to have this type of backup on this type of critical infrastructure.
Right, as part of the permit, that's required.
Yes, okay. As consumers is our primary provider on this, it would seem that any questions we have about their ability to do so on the primary side would be the same problems would exist as backup power. And the concern I want to bring up tonight and ask other council members and staff to consider, Consumers Energy has decided to move very strongly into renewables for a major portion of their base load, and some of that base load that is left, they want it to be natural gas-fired units. As we all saw this winter, Consumers has some single point of failure problems that, in depending on natural gas for firing their units and for heat during the winter, basically the entire half the lower peninsula was asked to lower their thermostats for 4 days. In the case of these backup power agreements, simply due to the financial difference in the first three, I think we're likely to want to approve those because it's very cost effective. On the fourth one, the Salt Fraser, the difference between owning our own generator and going with a 35-year agreement with Consumers, I'm assuming also this is a cost estimate on owning our own generator. Do we have a plan in hand on that at the moment? Hi, Kim.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council, City Manager, residents, and city staff. Yes, what we did was initially Consumers Energy used to provide these backup lines in addition to our primary line without any additional cost. It was just a regular part of the rate. But being a utility that would have to maintain all of this additional infrastructure and maintain enough power for that increased capacity, they decided that they would charge for the second lines, and they built in a 5-year and a 35-year agreement. And at that time, they said in 2014, we're only going to offer the 5-year agreements this one time. And so what we decided was that we needed to do a study to determine what would be our best option. Staying with Consumers as a backup, providing the two sources of power. And these primary feeds, what it is that they come from different locations. They don't cross through the same substations.
Right.
So we did the study. We had an engineering firm take a look at the price of doing a generator versus keeping the agreements with Consumers Energy. And that's the table that we put in here. So these are very good costs. We've had an engineering firm put these together for us, buying our own, bidding the package and getting our own generator versus the 35-year agreement with Consumers Energy.
In the case of the Salt Fraser agreement then, does this exist as something we could in a timely way put out for bid?
Yes, we could.
Okay, so for purposes of our licenses then, we would not face an extended period of non-compliance then if we went with that instead of the agreement with Consumers?
No, we wouldn't, and that one was kind of a touchy one because it was almost an identical cost. So.
Well, in terms of what we're considering right now, if you would like me to offer this in the form of a motion.
If you have a motion.
I would move that we accept the first three agreements for Emerson, Weber, and Fitzhugh as listed in the table. And at this time, I guess it's simply take no action on the fourth agreement until we would see a biddable thing for our generator. Then that would be a separate thing. I can't ask to bring that up right now. We don't have a document for that.
Madam Clerk, do you have the motion in a readable form, or we should restate it?
His motion is to approve Council Communication 12, including Emerson, Weber, and Fitzhugh, and excluding the Salt Fraser location.
Okay. Is there a second to the motion? Is there a second to the motion? No second?
I'll support.
Oh, it has been supported. All right. Yep, I'll support it. Now, having been supported, is there any discussion, further discussion on the issue? Any council members, further discussion? Any further questions for staff? Okay. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion before council this morning, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Opposed?
Nay. Nay.
Nay. All right. It is defeated.
Roll call vote.
Okay, roll call. And we'll do it that way.
But when you have a nay,
Yeah, I know.
it's okay. Okay. Councilmember Balls.
Nay.
Councilmember Ostash.
Nay.
Councilmember Forbes.
Nay.
Councilmember Bryant.
Nay.
Councilmember Bench.
Nay.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore.
Nay.
Councilmember Scherzer.
Yes.
Councilmember Millen.
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Nay.
We have 2 yes and 7 nay. Motion is denied.
Okay. Hearing that, is there a motion to approve the entire item 12?
So moved.
Support.
Has been moved and supported to approve item 12 as originally stated. Is there discussion? Well, it has been moved, so is there discussion at this point? Council members? No discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Okay. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mayor. We are now at Boards, Commission, and Committee reports.
Are there any reports by a council member?
Oh, sorry.
Of
That's
any-
because I'm so excited, Mr. Mayor. So what's going on here?
We're happy to have you
You're gonna calm it
excited.
down. Just
Yes.
wanted to let the members of our audience and the citizens know watching YouTube or SGTV that the Saginaw Riverfront Development Commission's offshoot Art and About will be kicking off and announcing their project in the next month. So if you go back, you look at some of the things that have been brought from the Art and About Committee. I think it's chaired by Lauren Collison and Carol Cottrell from our mayor. I think they have a pretty exciting, we're going to get a little preview maybe. They've been teasing me with it since last year. So, you know, we had the sculptures, we had the chalk artists, we had the painted pianos last year. And this year we're looking forward to another exciting installation throughout the riverfront. So it'll be really exciting. We also have another thing that I'm going to be bringing forward to our meeting on Tuesday. It's 30 and 30. And you'll have to wait till the next council meeting for me to tell you more about it.
So now you're teasing us.
So he's
We're
excited.
getting good at that. They do that on Riverfront. Tease you. 30 and 30.
So anyone want to question Councilmember Bryant on this further?
Yeah, we're done.
Okay. Any other reports from boards or commissions? Councilmember?
Briefly from the MBS International Airport, they recently held their annual meeting at which time the new officers are elected for a one-year term. And I was selected for vice chair of that board. And we are also doing similar work there to what we're doing here at the city with OPEB trusts.
Which I'm sure our manager is well aware of.
Serves on our finance committee.
Okay. Thank you. Any other boards or commission reports? Any others? All right, Madam Clerk.
We are at appointment of board and commission members. We do have one this evening. It's to approve the mayoral appointment of Dennis Browning to the Local Officers Compensation Commission with a term to expire May 1st of 2026.
Former mayor, so.
On several boards.
Yes.
You could have stayed up here.
Is there a motion to approve
So
the
moved.
appointment? All right, it's been moved and supported. Any discussion?
Put him on that board.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It is carried. Madam Clerk.
Okay, the ordinance introduction was pulled. There's no action there. So our next order of business is resolution. Our first one is approving the fiscal year 2019-2020 budget.
Hopefully this will be moved very properly. Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Carried. Madam Clerk.
Second resolution is approving the amount for the fiscal year 2019-2020 public safety millage.
Again, hopefully promptly. Is there a motion to approve?
Support.
To adopt, I should say.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Third one, Madam Clerk.
Next resolution is approving the request of the Downtown Development Authority to levy a 2 mil tax on all real and tangible personal property not exempt by law and is finally equalized in the Downtown Development District for fiscal year 2020.
Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion?
Yes. How much did we levy on them before, or did we ever levy this?
This is.
Yes, we've been levying the 2 mils. That's the statutory max that we can levy. If you remember, there were a number of years where we didn't do anything. So we started doing this, I believe this is the 3rd year. And so now the DDA actually has some funds available to do projects, and they're paying for overtime policing if there's busy nights, and downtown district, so it's been positive, I think, for the DDA and the city.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Madam Clerk, number
Our
4.
final resolution is to establish an an obsolete property rehabilitation district at 911 Veterans Memorial Parkway.
There are people waiting with bated breath for this
So
motion.
moved.
Support. Lovely support.
It has been moved and supported. Is there any discussion?
I did want to know what equipment they did, but I Googled it while we was at the meeting to find out. Now I know they handle cleaning equipment for cleaners and equipment and supplies.
Actually, what we do is I would use laundry equipment. Sell and install.
Okay.
Very good. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Congratulations.
We are now at miscellaneous business.
All right. Is there any miscellaneous or unfinished business at this time? Councilmember Miller.
2 questions for the manager. Since we had a lengthy discussion about people were adding on meeting the lead mandate, is there still a lawsuit we're a party to seeking to get this funded better from the state?
There was a filing at administrative level, and I'm not sure if that filing was dismissed. So our city attorney is following any other legal action at this time. However, we're proceeding as if the rules are set and we're following those rules. The Water Department has done an excellent job, I think, in setting it up for us. And they've been already replacing a number of lines to determine the time, the cost, and feasibility. So they've done an excellent job with that. The way that the individuals that were noted to be added, putting our own crew together like that, we're estimating the cost to be about 50% of what it would cost if it were contracted. And I think that's probably being pretty conservative with it, because given the number of cities in the state that will need to have the work done, I would anticipate that the cost for contracting would probably go up. We're basing that other cities have paid. But we'll continue to follow that. If it's something that we think of interest to us to join, I'm sure we'll do that. But that's a number of years. As you know how long that takes, it could be a number of years. So we'll just proceed as if the rules are going to stay in place.
One other request, if it would be possible for you to get a short update for us from the Saginaw Bay Land Conservancy pollinator projects they're working on right now. I'm getting questions from people. They wonder, well, why is this particular empty lot all brown grass right now? And especially since they seem to have a couple of major sites they're working on, like all along a couple of streets. We've had a presentation from them previously about what they're doing, but just this year in particular, if they could point out the areas they're working in.
Yeah, we did contact them about doing an update, and I think they weren't ready to do it at that time, or they wanted to wait a little while. So we like to give them an opportunity, since they do a lot of work in the city at low cost or no cost. We usually give them a chance. So we'll check back with them again and see if we might get that scheduled.
Get them in on a rainy day. They were out working today.
That's all. Thank you. Is there any other unfinished business? Any other? Hearing none, I entertain a motion to.
So moved.
Support. Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried.